I decided to make donuts inspired by Krispy Kreme, but with my own twist. So to make the donuts, I measured out 480 grams of plain flour, and then I sifted it into the bowl. And then I added 2.5 teaspoons of dry yeast into the mixture. And then I poured in 150 ml of warm milk, warm lukewarm milk. And then I gave everything a nice whisk with the hook attachment of my mixer. I mixed everything for about 3 minutes on low speed. And then I added in the sugar. I added in 75 grams of sugar into the mixture. I added in 2 teaspoons of salt and 3 eggs. And then I whisked everything together for about 5 minutes. And then I added in melted butter. I put 7 tablespoons of melted butter gradually into the mixture and continued to whisk everything together. The Bible tells us so much about who God is, and it's such an interesting read. Some of my favourite psalms that really speak about who God is, I'll read them out now. Psalm 3 verse 8, "From the Lord comes deliverance." This tells us that God is our deliverer. Psalm 4:8, "I will lie down, sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." Psalm 4:7, "You have filled my heart with greater joy." I really love this one because in order for God to fill our hearts with greater joy, it means that He is greater than the joy that He's given us. Once everything was nicely mixed in, I then poured the mixture out onto a cling film wrap, wrapped everything up, and I left it in the fridge for 24 hours. You don't necessarily need to leave it in for that long. You can leave it in for 6 hours up until 24 hours. Psalm 7:10, "My shield is God Most High." God is our shield and He is God Most High. I brought it out of the cling film wrap, lightly dusted my hands with some flour, formed it into nice shapes and put it on a baking tray, and then covered it with cling film and left it for 2 hours to rise, and then it was ready to start frying. I poured about a cup of oil in a frying pan and set it to medium heat and then allowed it to heat up. Then started to insert the donuts in one by one and then let them fry. They fried on one side for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then I turned it over to fry on the other side, and then I removed it and put it on a paper towel so it would dry, and then let it cool down for 10 minutes. I used about 100 grams of icing sugar and then just added a tablespoon of water at a time and just mixed it all together until it was fairly liquidy but not runny. And then I added some food colouring, some pink food colouring, and that was my pink icing. And I swirled the donuts in the pink icing and then topped it up with some sprinkles. The next icing I did was the same amount of measurements, but I didn't add food colouring, and I used that to make the white icing, and then I just sprinkled some cinnamon sugar on top. So with the cinnamon sugar I used 1 tablespoon of cinnamon powder and 1 tablespoon of sugar, and I mixed everything together and then sprinkled it as my cinnamon sugar sprinkles. I sprinkled it on top of the donut. And the next icing that I did was the biscoff one. So I used runny biscoff into the donut. I'd already inserted holes into the donut on either side, and I used a piping bag to pipe the biscoff into the ends of the donut that had holes in. And I piped also marshmallow fluff in it was a nice warm consistency. It was quite runny. And then I spread biscoff on the top of the donut, sprinkled crushed biscoff on the sides. Psalm 8, O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. From the lips of children and infants you have ordained praise, because of your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider the heavens, of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man that you care for him? You made him a little lower than the heavenly beings, and crowned him with glory and honor, and grated some white chocolate on the top of the donut, and that was my biscoff inspired donut. And the last donut I did was a chocolate caramel donut. So I made holes in either end of the donut, and then I inserted some warm caramel inside the donut using a piping bag. Then I dipped the donut in the white icing, drizzled some caramel on top. O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. And broke up some pieces of rich dark chocolate and topped it on the donut. And that was my 4 different types of donuts. Comment below if you've tried any different donut type recipes, any different donut toppings, and let me know some fun ideas that you've tried, and I'll see if I can give it a try. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye!